Welcome to the NoPo podcast, your home for non-political news, with your hosts, NoPo founder Vera Gibbons and media commentator Mitch Roschelle. NoPo, news without the noise.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NoPo podcast, where we uncover the week's top non-political news. Our mission is to entertain, inform, educate, have a little fun. These are the stories that the media isn't really covering, or if they're covering them only a little teeny tiny bit because they have other things they want to cover and throw in their own biases and everything else. So we don't want to do that. We want to bring you NoPo. I'm Vera Gibbons, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Mitch Roschelle and John Iannuzzi. Welcome, everyone. This is our fourth podcast. So far, so good.
So in baseball speak, we made it around the bases, which is pretty impressive. So I'm glad folks are enjoying it. In fact, we've got another review on iTunes, and I figured I'd read it. And I know you're going to ask Vera whether or not this is a family member who wrote it. I don't think so. But we'll continue to read reviews, whether they're positive or negative, because we're in favor of full transparency. NoPo. So here you go. We really need this podcast more than ever. So glad Vera, Mitch, and John, they included you. Terrific. Started this show. The group has a terrific chemistry and always comes up with interesting things to talk about that have nothing to do with politics. I vote for them. How about that for a review? We can only find out who that is. We'll send them a $100,000 bar. I wonder if that's unethical to send chocolate to people who write good reviews.
I think if you keep promising it, though, we're going to have to deliver.
Yeah. Well, didn't you steal some of your daughter's Halloween candy a couple of weeks ago?
Can I tell you, I don't know. I don't think it ever entered the house.
Really? Got eaten in a car?
I go down in the kitchen. I mill around every now and again. I don't think candy made it into the house this year.
I can't believe we're still talking about Halloween. That now seems like a month ago. 3 weeks
but you know
ago,
what? It is the glue that binds us together.
Food.
We have a lot of food topics this week in our show rundown, which will be interesting.
We sure do, because everybody's eating comfort food, heavy foods, puddings, pies. The fast food chains have now been coming out with these new bowls of stuff. Chicken and cheese, and there's actually a new chicken and gravy bowl that's made to resemble a Thanksgiving meal that Denny's just came out with. So they're catering to our whims. They know what we want. We want just a lot of stuff to feed our emotions, and everybody's stressed out. I mean, it's just too much tension and too much stress. So we're eating our way through things.
When I read that story, I thought of two things immediately. One, as soon as the word Denny's pops into my head, I go right for Grand Slam breakfast. I don't even know why they have anything else on the menu. I go right for Grand Slam breakfast. John, I'll explain this to you later since you're a vegan. But I also thought about that Thanksgiving in a bowl thing, since a lot of folks are ordering out, and Denny's is not really designed for order out. It's really sort of designed to eat in. I wonder how that Thanksgiving in a bowl travels. Like when you get it home, what kind of mush it is. Maybe it becomes turkey stuffing pudding by the time you get it home.
Seems kind of sad, too. I just picture one person sitting on the couch, the lonely man Thanksgiving in a bowl.
It sort of smacks of Swanson frozen food dinners, and who doesn't yearn for the days of the Swanson frozen TV dinner? John, so what's the vegan comfort food, my friend?
Well, I mean, any carb. You could load up on as many potatoes as you want, boss. You could You could basically do all your Thanksgiving sans cheese and turkey. So cover your carbs with cranberry. Yeah.
Okay. So you just have
and pies,
potatoes,
a lot of pies.
Oh, there's an apple pie. So I guess the dessert portion of Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
And sweet potatoes. The stuffing would probably be fine too, right?
Depends on what stock you put in it, but yeah.
Yeah, but you can put vegetable stock in it. No
Mitch,
sausage,
you get this. See, you absolutely understand this.
I'd be like a maximum security prisoner eating nothing but porridge or something.
But think how trim you'd be. What is in a Grand Slam? I'm imagining that's two egg, two sausages, two.
It's two of everything, which interestingly enough, it's going to be an interesting transition to the next story here. But it's 2 eggs, 2 pancakes. You could also sub out the French toast for that. Eggs any style. 2 sausage, 2 bacon, 2 ham. Sometimes in the diner referred to as the lumberjack, but it's basically the same item.
Sounds like a heart attack waiting to happen.
Yeah, that's okay. So our next story is interesting, which is scientists have found that earwax can be the testing place for depression. And there's a recent study that shows that they can test for a lot of things using earwax, and the levels in your earwax that indicate whether or not you are depressed. They can also potentially test for COVID antibodies in your earwax. So for those of you who have incredibly waxy ears, you may have a treasure trove of potential diagnosis codes coming your way.
I think all of our cortisol levels right now are through the roof. And I think that goes back to our original story as to why we are feeding our emotions, just stuff on our faces. It's just too much. So I think if we took this earwax test, the cortisol levels would be through the roof. I mean, I'm trying to sort of minimize the stress. I'm doing my working out and everything else, but I feel it. And everybody else does too.
I think that our podcast, not to toot our own horn, but I think our podcast helps some people because it's a place to go. The level of vitriol that you'll find in all of the media outlets, because they're reporting it, not per se they are vitriolic, but just the rancor back and forth sort of getting uglier and uglier. And we're just a place where we're never ugly. Although earwax isn't necessarily appetizing, but we're never ugly. So that's
well, it's funny you mentioned that, Mitch, because I watch like the Food Network, the Love Boat. I watch reruns of the Golden Girls to try
to but they took it off now to make holiday movies. But we were Golden Girls like 3 times a day in this house.
Yeah, it helps. And now there's a new show called A World of Calm that I just took a look at the trailer. That looks good too. I mean, these are the kinds of shows we are gravitating toward. This is on HBO. It's from the creators of the Calm app. And it's very soothing. The music, the narratives, the footage is pretty. It looks good. This is what we want. This is what we need. In addition to the NoPo podcast, we need more shows that are soothing.
Is that the one with Keanu Reeves in it?
Yes.
So he does the voiceover in that. I don't know that I can take Bill or Ted from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure that seriously, in a serious role. Then again, he was very serious in that movie Speed about the runaway buffs with Sandra Bullock. But I got to focus on whether or not Keanu Reeves, like James Earl Jones's voice to me is calming and soothing. But I don't know that Keanu Reeves got that sort of inflection in his voice. I'm going to have to give that a try.
Well, check it out and see, because I know that they have a bunch of episodes. They're like 20, 25 minutes long, and some of them contain no humans whatsoever. I just think the footage is really pretty. It's kind of like one of the reasons why I watch CBS Sunday morning show, because the footage is pretty and the sounds are great. And it's still one of the best shows on TV, I think.
I wish they would extend that last 90 seconds when they leave you at the end of the show at some park in Sedona, or there's like a minute that they just leave the camera on that scenery. And I could watch that for 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. So is that like what this is?
CBS This Morning will show you, they'll have some great sound, like a waterfall or something.
Yes.
Right. This is what this is. You should definitely check it out.
So I like that.
World of Calm. I mean, the other show people are talking about that is a different show altogether is the Queens Gambit on Netflix. Have yet to see it, but people are talking about it online.
Isn't that the chess show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what? I for some reason, I have this aversion to, for the most part, to period pieces in general. And when I heard Queens, I just went away because I thought it was going to be some British royalty thing. But then when I read up about it and I heard it was about chess, not that I'm a chess player, I thought it sounded interesting. I also boycotted The King of Queens for that same reason, just because I didn't realize it had nothing to do about British royalty. It was about a dude who lived in Queens who drove a UPS truck. But in any event, I may give this a try because we're running out of stuff. I think America is running out of stuff to watch.
We need escapism big time, too. We need to just get out of our heads, get out of our minds, get out of our household, drama, relationships are blowing up. But it's just, this will take you away from the tension temporarily.
Well, another thing that's taking people away from tension is gaming. And gaming is on the rise. All of the platforms are doing incredibly well. I think the hot items for the holidays are certainly going to be gaming systems. And then the games themselves, the company's revenues are spiking, whether it be EA or Take-Two or Epic Games, which is a private company, the creator of Fortnite. But the amount of people that are sort of stuck inside in gaming is really at an all-time high.
Yeah, it's amazing because you think it's just the kid down in the basement, like his parents' basement, but now families are getting in on the gaming act. It's like a family activity.
You know, what's interesting about that is I remember, and my kids were littler at the time, when Guitar Hero came out, and that was the first time that a game, and I don't remember which system we had it hooked up to because we've had every one of them in my house, but where everybody sort of got in on it. I think we're going to see probably a big uptick on that. I don't see a lot of parents playing Fortnite at 2 a.m., but I certainly think that some of the games that are out there are going to bring the family together again.
Yeah, I just don't get why. So we've had a couple of online gaming IPOs, or at least a few over the past. Yeah. They haven't been good. I mean, you think, Zynga, isn't that from the Farmville people? Like some of the other ones have just not performed well. But, it's been an explosive IPO market overall. As you know, Mitch, you're the business guy. So 2020 has been blowing up with all these IPOs.
Well, investors are looking for a place to put their money. And since tech in general is, the darling of the bull market in 2020, there have been a lot of tech IPOs. There's some coming around the corner as well, because Airbnb and some others are slated for 2021. The other thing that's interesting, not to get into weeds in terms of the market, but it really shows you how strong investor sentiment is. And I think we can learn a lot from the way investors think, because it tends to be non-political as well, is people who are investing in these special purpose acquisition companies, also known as SPACs, which are basically a company that owns nothing, but it's going to buy something in the future. So they're often referred to as blank check companies, but investors are gobbling those up as well. And it really shows you that people generally are very optimistic about the future as it relates to investing. And one other thing I'll say, because just to sort of bring these two stories together, gaming is also, in some parlances, gambling. And we have seen a lot of folks day trading as a hobby when they were locked indoors. And some of the volatility in the markets and some of the run up in some of the big names was really driven by a lot of folks who were day trading. So we'll see what 2021 looks like. But I think that my personal view is you're going to see, as the economy continues to climb back, I think you're going to see the stock market continuing to do really well.
My brother's a day trader, so I'm aware of the ups and downs that come with that territory.
Yeah, day traders are often throwing things, at the wall. Sort of like being a University of Michigan football fan, as I am. There's often things that break in your home because there's a lot of frustration. I mentioned Airbnb and IPOs. I'm curious, have either of you, Vera or John, actually stayed in an Airbnb?
Right before the pandemic, we were supposed to stay at one in Reykjavik in Iceland. And I know it's transformed. The first time we went to Iceland, there were just a handful of places to stay. This was maybe like a decade ago. And now there are more people offering Airbnb in parts of Reykjavik than people who actually live there. It has exploded, and it's changed travel. It's certainly changed Iceland. It's changed the entire country. So yeah, we have. I still prefer a regular hotel, but it's in some places it's the only choice.
Yeah, I guess, and I also think that Airbnb has done well as people tried to get out of where they were. Like if you lived in New York City and you were a family of three with a little kid, you got in your car or you rented a car and you just drove someplace and you just jumped into an Airbnb just to get out of a city, whatever your city is. So I think there's a lot of action there. Vera, have you stayed in an Airbnb?
I have not, Mitch, but I think I agree with you that Airbnb has done a really good job pivoting. So now you have people who are staying for a month, 6 weeks, 2 months. My niece, I think I mentioned this last time, she's been doing Airbnb with her boyfriend at different locations because they don't have to be in the cities anymore. So they're doing Palm Springs in January. They did Kittery, Maine last month. They're having some fun with it. And I think just when I thought Airbnb was, oh, that's the end of Airbnb, they've really done a great job reinventing themselves, I think. So that'll be an interesting IPO to watch for sure.
I was going to say, it comes in handy. My wife has a friend who lives in Middle Granville, New York. It's the slate capital of the world, but there is nothing up there. So when we go visit, unless we want to stay in Manchester, Vermont, which is 45 minutes away, Airbnb is the only option. And it's a lifesaver in those types of situations.
And you can rent yourself a dope crib in the slate capital of America.
I mean, it offers you a place to lay your head where there just wasn't a couple of years ago.
Well, if you want to get some rest, one of the things you don't want to do is play the Baby Shark video. Right now, it was originally loaded on YouTube in June of 2016, and it has just crossed the 7 billion view mark. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, the Baby Shark video has crossed the 7 billion view mark.
I'm trying to think what we're responsible for in this house.
How many of those are you? Yeah,
that's what I'm.
Yeah,
maybe like 1,000 of those.
Yeah, which is an insignificant number relative to 7 billion, but sort of appalling on some other level that you had to listen to it that many times, 1,000 times.
Someone got me a Daddy Shark T-shirt. I have that somewhere.
The one thing I'm going to sort of give the listeners a heads up, when John, who we love dearly and couldn't do this show without, when John puts this thing together in post-production, he picks a song for the end of the show. We talk about what it'll be. I'm just warning the audience, there's a chance it's going to be the Baby Shark song. There's just a chance. If
you're lucky.
Yeah. There's another chance, though. Speaking of 7, our guest that we are always, every episode, we bring in a guest. And our guest this week is a 7-time Emmy award-winning broadcaster. Unfortunately, we this is audio only, but over his left shoulder, I'm staring at 2.
Go ahead. Say it.
Two of those 7 Emmys. And our guest this week is none other than 7-time Emmy award-winning broadcaster, Scott Stanford. Scott,
guys,
welcome to NoPo.
What an honor it is to be on the program. Listen, you were talking about reviews of your show before when you started, and I was scanning the internet to see what other things I could find on the show, and I found another review of NoPo. It says, and it was crazy. It just came up. It said, NoPo's a terrific show. Vera's great. We love John. Mitch could use a little just for men. And how have you not had Scott Stanford on the show yet? And it was signed Arlene Stanford. So may or may not be related. I can't confirm or deny that report, but you guys got a great review. Pleasure to be here. And listen, if you have to, I understand if you have to cut away for a Kanye concession speech, do it. I will not mind. He might be speaking at any minute now.
That's bordering on Poe, but I do think he was probably the most written in name ever in the history of a general election. So more about that on other networks. But so Scott, you yourself have a program, and we're going to cover a couple of wacky stories with you, but maybe a little bit on the Scott and Suki show.
Well, Mitch, listen, Suki be very upset. It's the Suki and Scott show. You switch that around. Her name, woman's name always comes first. But yeah, no, listen, we, back in February, Suki and I, obviously Suki and I, if you may or may not know, Suki and I were co-hosts on the Pix 11 morning show here in New York for a little while. Show did very well. New management came in 72 different times, new management, and the show has since not been around since 2017. Suki and I, back in February, decided to do our own show online like everybody else is doing. And we were getting together once a week in a studio. And then when the pandemic hit, we started doing it like everybody else, digitally online in the boxes on different streaming services. And we started our show on Facebook. It was kind of like a hobby. And lo and behold, we ended up doing it 5 nights a week based on the demand and the guests we were getting for a long time, right through the summer. And we knocked it down to 3 days a week. And we're on every Tuesday through Thursday on Facebook Live, Suki and Scott Show. And it's kind of like you guys. There's no politics allowed. If Suki starts talking about anything, coronavirus, politics, I mute the mic immediately. But we have on great celebrity guests. We have on singers, musicians, we have artists, we have magicians, illusionists, and comedians. And it's really just, it's 1 hour of getting away from all the crap that's going on in the world. And it's turned into, a very popular show. And it's for our viewers who join us every night, they kind of feel like part of the family, which your listeners and viewers will eventually do. And they'll get to know you guys. They feel like they're part of our family, and it's become must tune in TV for them every night. They know we're here. They know we're on. The audience interaction is phenomenal. So it's basically Facebook Live every Tuesday through Thursday, Suki and Scott Show. And we're in talks with some other people right now to bring the show onto some bigger platforms. But as you guys well know, it's all about the content, putting in the work and putting in the hours before you can, move to that next level. But it's been fantastic so far.
So one quick question for you. How do you deal with a magician via video? Is it?
Well, I'll tell you what, Mitch, every magician who was performing prior to the pandemic, okay, every one of them now have adapted to the way of life. A lot of them were on cruise ships, doing shows at corporate parties, things like that. But they've adapted to the way of life where they've set up their own studios for digital to do the shows. And what they'll do is, they will sell for $20. So-and-so magician is having a show on Saturday night. And for the whole family, it's $20. You log on to his site, and for the whole family, you're getting an interactive magic show. Our magicians come on. We talk about them. We get to know them, and they'll do 2 or 3 tricks for us. And I have to tell you, there are so many talented people out there that you've never even heard of. But as far as the magicians go, a lot of them have set it up now where they have a camera on them, a camera overhead on the table so you could see close up of what they're doing. And it works amazing. You wouldn't think it would be as good, but it works just as good as if you're sitting there live or watching them on TV. Same with the musicians. It all translates very well. Most of these folks have set it up now to where their audio sounds great, their video looks good, and it sounds like it's with the technology we have and the streaming services, the sound and the video quality it's perfect.
Well, now we got to figure out how we can book a magician, but be audio only. That's going to be the trick.
Right. Magicians don't work on audio unless it's just words. But no, it's phenomenal. And the only thing that doesn't work, on shows like these where the people just want to be entertained, like you guys are doing, the only thing that doesn't work is someone who starts to talk about negativity. We're not a political show. We're just an entertainment, get away from it all show. Other than that, if you come with high energy, it doesn't matter if you're famous, you're not. We've had just as many famous people as non-famous people. If you come with that high energy, it just lights up the show. And I've had some big celebrity guests that came in and they were their energy was down. I'd rather have somebody who's a magician that nobody knows, who's lighting up the screen, and you see your audience interaction and everybody's just loving it. So it's all good. As long as you're an entertainer, you're welcome on our show, whether you're famous or not. We've discovered we found a lot of people who no one's ever heard of that have been absolutely phenomenal performers. And it's great for them. They love the exposure, and it's great for us because, of course, you need the content to fill up the entertaining time.
Cool.
Are you going to have Santa on? Because these Santas need some work. They usually get paid very well to do the mall things, but they're looking for gigs.
Let me add Santa to the probably not very entertaining guest that we have on the show. We could throw him on for 2 minutes and then you could clip him off. But yeah, no, I know it's tough for those guys. And I was just reading the other day how the malls and everybody are trying to adapt to, their upcoming Santa appearances. When everybody goes to the mall, which probably isn't going to be that many people this year. Yeah,
it's become, malls are very sad when you go into them.
Yeah,
they've just become very sad. And the Easter Bunny kind of got short shrift, but that was early in the pandemic. Mm-hmm. But now we're into the Santa season, and it's kind of sad. I also feel for Salvation Army because the dude ringing the bell don't have the foot traffic to fill up the little red bucket. One last item, Scott, before we let you go. You're a lifelong sportscaster, and nothing goes better with sports than chicken wings. But for a variety of market factors, chicken wings have gone up in price. So Wingstop is actually testing chicken thighs as an alternative to chicken wings. You're giving that the Heisman right now.
No. It just doesn't work. Chicken thighs are nice if, you're having family over for a little friendly dinner, but chicken wings is where it's at. Listen, chicken wings is one of those products. Doesn't matter if it's buffalo, barbecue, plain. Then now they have the flat, crunchy chicken wings. It's one of those products. It's like milk. No matter what you charge us for it, we're coming for it anyway. It's like gas prices, Mitch. Whatever the chicken wing prices are, just shut your eyes, pay for it. The thighs will never take over chicken wing superiority. Never.
You know what? I took my brother to he had to have a colonoscopy the other day, and as soon as he was done, where did he want to go? Buffalo Wild Wings to get his wings.
You gotta love the
dubs. Yeah.
Listen, before I go, I heard you guys talking about shows to watch, and you mentioned Queen. There's a show that my wife and I just finished called Queen of the South. And it's 4 seasons right now. Jot this one down. Queen of the South. It is Mexican cartel action at its finest. Every show you watch, you get anxiety from it. That's how great it is. The characters are great. There's violence galore, Mitch and Vera and John. There's violence galore.
I think we've actually watched this. It's not new, is it? I think it's been around.
It's not new. I think it may have been on USA. They brought it over to Netflix, and now it was so popular on Netflix. They're making a season 5 just for Netflix to come out next summer. We're literally glued. My wife and I would spend 3-4 hours watching this thing.
Anything cartel, I'm in. I've interviewed the agent who busted El Chapo, and I had sweat marks underneath my pits. It was cartel. I'm in.
It's great. Queen of the South. Once you start watching it, you'll be addicted, and it'll give you something else, to take your mind off the garbage in the world. You get some nice cartel violence going. It's great, and the characters are phenomenal.
Can I ask our guest a question, Mitch?
John, this is equally your podcast, so you can ask away.
Oh, look at the time, John. Sorry, but I got to get moving. No.
Will the NFL season? Will we have an end to this NFL season, or are we playing all these games for?
No, you know what? You'll get it. You'll get an end to the season. It hasn't been enough of a couple of virus cases here and there. Teams have been shut down. Then they'll play the game on a Tuesday or Wednesday night. You'll get it in. Just like the other sports, NBA and MLB, you'll get it to a finality, and hopefully by the time they come back next fall, this thing is in check. The virus, but who knows, because it's only getting worse by the day here. So you never know, but you got to hope for the best. I know the NBA just decided they're going to start next season on Christmas Day. They're going to play 72 games, 10 less than they normally would on Christmas Day. They're going to start. I didn't see whether or not it said they were going to do that bubble thing again. I have to imagine, we're in November. I'm sure they have to do the bubble thing all over again. And as a sports guy, the way it's all being played, I'm kind of losing interest in watching without the fans there. And thank God for WWE. We never stopped during the pandemic. WWE kept filming. They never stopped, which was great for me. I never stopped, working. But it was so weird to watch even WWE without any fans in the building.
Vince is a visionary, though. If anyone could figure that out.
They came up with this Thunderdome product where they stay at the Orlando Arena every week. and they have this Thunderdome where the audience is in the boxes on the video screens. And it just, you forget. I mean, you forgot that we're even in the middle of a pandemic when you're watching the show and no audience is in the building, but they're there virtually, and it looks and sounds phenomenal. But the answer to your question is yes, you will see an end to the NFL season. The answer is yes, the Jets probably will not win a game, and the Giants probably will not win another game the rest of the season. So that's my prediction.
That's uplifting. I'm going to go out and get myself some chicken thighs now. One other show recommendation I'll leave everybody with. If you haven't watched on Netflix, the Formula One series, it's 2 seasons. The first season is sort of the lesser known names in Formula One. The second season is the bigger known names in Formula One. It was so good, so compelling, so addicting. And I now DVR Formula One and actually watch the real races, because that's one of those sports that without an audience, without a crowd, it doesn't sort of matter. Like,
yeah, it doesn't matter. No. And don't forget Schitt's Creek, Mitch. Great show.
You know, it's funny you should say that, because that is the second time someone cursed on the NoPo podcast. So,
nah, listen, that's not even a curse anymore. All the network anchors get to say it now.
All right, Scott, thanks a million for joining episode 4. Where can we find the Suki and Scott Show?
Suki and Scott Show, Facebook Live. We do it live every Tuesday through Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Then, of course, it stays up there and lives. Great guests, great entertainment. If you're looking to get away from, the everyday, I don't know. I just say everyday crap of the day, but it's been just a phenomenal show, and it's just really taken on a life of its own. So it's been great. Suki and Scott Show on Facebook Live.
Excellent. And since you said
we will await our invitation.
Yeah, I don't know if we rate, because to be potential.
Do you guys sing? Do you dance? Do you juggle? What do? You got to come with some form of entertaining something.
Just looking good doesn't count, huh?
Listen, yeah. I've had a lot of models on that I've cut short because they just weren't that interesting.
All right.
You guys will be welcome on. I'll have you on with Santa when we put him on.
Yeah. When you have to go quickly to commercial because Santa's a train wreck, that's when they'll break out the NoPo crew. Well, Scott, thanks for joining. And everybody, thanks for being a part of episode 4 of the NoPo podcast. Hopefully you're checking us out. Hopefully you give us 5 stars and write reviews just like Scott's mother did. The NoPo podcast, news without the noise.
Mommy shark do 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 do, mommy shark do 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 do, mommy shark do 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 do, mommy shark. Daddy shark do 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 do, daddy shark do 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 do, daddy shark do